the school. You really speak about spirit. People, when there was a rumor once before that the game wasn't going to go on, man, the people was actually talking about getting rid of the coaches, getting rid of the mayor. You know, there was a community uproar about not being able to have this game on a Friday night. So just the magnitude of going out and seeing a Vigor Blount game. Older people who really don't have a team, per se, a college team or a pro team, they have Vigor. So the idea of going about this game.
Josh Kane wearing 52 at the center. The wingback, Cannon, big hole. That is Gallery, first down to the 31-yard line. That is a big gain.
What they ran there was the wingback trap. Ran the wing, and that's still misdirection. So early on, what we see Ed East and the Vigor team trying to run misdirection against this even defense of the Blount Leopards.
16-yard gain. 60 is Eli, the left tackle. 53, the right tackle, Frank Powell. He's 300 pounds.
To this rivalry between Vigor and Blount, and I realized it was really separated by tracks. Like really, it was separated by a set of train tracks.
I remember one year we had about 15,000.
Well, I think the rivalry originated from just, a group of guys that all grew up together, went to the same elementary schools, lived in the same neighborhoods, went to the same middle schools, and then they kind of parted ways. Some people may moved on one side of the track, some people may moved on the other side of the track, and it's just a raw competition. And when those guys get together, it's just, man, it's bar none. It's hands down. You got to fight for it. And then in the end, you had that camaraderie, and we all good again.
To know something about Pritchard and Blount, we're not separated by a few distance, by a long distance, so you have kids that actually grew up in the same home, probably went to different school. You have different brothers, probably played on a different team, neighbors even, back in the days, one went to Vigor, one went to Blount. So there's been a long history of just competitive spirit that goes along with Vigor and Blount. You always want to be a part of them. We got the state championship. It's the city itself, the love of Pritchard. So the spirit behind it means so much to the community.
It's a huge impact on the community, because I believe that these kids and this community at one time went to elementary and middle school together, as well as still go to church together and still stay on the same street. But on this one day and this 1 week, you're separated, as they say, by the tracks. You have your loyalty to Blount from off of Main Street where they used to be, and you have your loyalty to Vigor on Wilson Avenue. So I believe because of that, that's how the impact is on the community, because at the end of the day, we're gonna still be at church on Sunday together. We still gonna be the same people from middle school and elementary school that was in the same classrooms, but just for this one night and this 1 week, we don't like each other, and it's nothing personal, but it's just all about who wins the game, and then the next day we back family.
As a student growing up around this area and attending Vigor from a family that grew up attending Blount, it always felt weird because every time we always would hang out with my family, they would be like, there go them Wolf boys. And I'll always be like, why y'all always say that? What do y'all have against Vigor? And they never really gave me an answer. So I took it upon myself to go and look up some old alumni from Vigor to ask them questions. Why is Vigor and Blount so?
This game here is going to be like your Auburn versus Alabama. You know, it's you know, this is the battle of Pritchard. You know, everybody has pride in their city, and this is our pride game, the battle of Pritchard.
Different now because back then the rivalry was more intense because we were exactly across the track from each other, and most kids were from the same neighborhood actually. So nowadays, you know, it's the same rivalry, but I don't think it's as intense as it was back then. And also my junior year, it was a great rivalry because I played against my cousin and we actually lived in the same household, and he went to Blount and I went to Vigor. It was kind of crazy how the situation was, but we lived in the same household. He went to Blount, I went to Vigor. I played linebacker and he was the quarterback. And I was made watching him run out of bounds every time I got past the line of scrimmage to make the tackle on him. And then my
thing is around here, and Vigor and Blount is just humongous, man. It's just a big rivalry, and it's hard to explain. I mean, you really got to be there to play the game, actually go through it and see all the crowd and how big it come out and stuff like that.
And when I talked to them, they even said that their own brothers and sisters went to Blount, and their whole side of the family, from father to son, had went down from Blount to Vigor to Blount, and almost sometimes had a house of separation, you know, had tension feel in the house when they always got together.
How the game impact the community is that it get everybody be looking up for like today is Monday. Everybody waiting on Friday to get him because it's going to be packed. Both sides will standing room only, so you might as well get there early because if you don't, you won't get a seat. You probably.
The impact that this game has on the community, in my opinion, is the fact that it brings everyone together for a short period of time. You know, everybody gets to see it, people that they may not have seen before. It's kind of like a big family reunion. You know, you see a lot of people that you hadn't seen before, you hadn't hung out with for a while. You know, gets you come back, you can talk a little trash, you know, eat a little food, you know.
And as I was sitting here talking to some of these alumni and how they were telling me so many amazing things back when they played at Vigor, that they said like Vigor was holding the streak for like 14 years and they were holding other games from 33 to 11, and they were sitting there telling me about how awesome some of their games were, and I asked them where their greatest plays that they ever did or ever saw or what they ever did. And one game always stuck out where Blount had finally beat Vigor in like 14 years, and you can just, it was amazing impact on how the crowd was, on Vigor's side, was just in shock that happened.
But I think my biggest memory was probably the first year Vigor lost to Blount in '93, and the game was so big they moved it to Ladd Stadium. And that game was packed out at Ladd, which holds 40,000 people, and the game was tied up down to the last minute. And then they had a goal line stance that Vigor was on defense, and Damian Craig, who's now the football coach at LSU, went over the top and won the game for Blount. And I think the score might have been 10-7. it was the last second that he scored a touchdown. That was the first year Blount won in like 14, 15 years. So that's probably one of my biggest memories, is to see that many people in the community come together and fulfill the seats at Last Stadium, even though we lost. But it was just a beautiful thing to see the communities and the sides come together.
My best Blount and Vigor memory when we were first and goal inside the one against Blount, and we shut them down. First down, brick wall. Second down, brick wall. Third down, brick wall. Fourth down, we clam them doors. Bam, 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 bam. Shut the doors on. Everybody running off, everybody crowd going wild. That's my most memorable of the Blount and Vigor game in my time.
Oh Lord, there's been a bunch of those. I can't really think of one single play. It's been a bunch of them.
One play? Just to name one play, it's hard to name one play. I mean, a lot of talk about the year Blount showed up late, right before the kickoff, and Marvin Sheen catch an 80-yard bomb the first play of the game. A lot of people would tell you that that's a defining moment. A lot of people would tell you when Velus Jones slammed little Larry Casher in the 96 game. Larry Casher picks off a pass and Velus Jones suplexes him on his neck. That's a play a lot of people talk about. The play Damian Jones running one of them crazies, 18 crazy, 19 crazy play where he run the whirly bird and hunts down Robert Malone. You know, those type of plays that'll stick out in your head. Or Burton Scott when he goes 90 yards on Blount at Blount Stadium. There's a lot of plays that stick out in your head. I can't just pin it down to one play.
Greatest memory of the Vigor Blount game was back in 1997. That night, it was a Friday night, and Blount was performing Thriller, and this was on Halloween night. It's probably been like October 31st, Halloween. And everyone was just having a good time. We were almost, I can't even remember the score of the game, but we were close neck and neck of winning, but we didn't win, so we lost the game. But just the point of just seeing everybody excitement and just having a good time, it was just awesome.
And there's just so much to cram in. It just so much to put in one documentary. The other facts and knowledge will just have to be for another time.
My name is Mr. Scott E. Lacey. I am a 1983 graduate of Vigor High School. I am a 52-year lifelong resident of the city of Pritchard also.
Intense, hard-hitting, playmaking, both sides of the ball. Put us on both sides and we're gonna make it happen.
One of the things that about the Vigor and Blount game, from the perspective of going to another school, I mean, we knew it was a big game. Everybody wanted to go to the Blount and Vigor game, regardless if I graduated from LaFleur, but I wanted to be there at the Blount and Vigor game because it was big, not just in the city of Pritchard, but it was big in the city of Mobile. It was just a gigantic game. So I wanted to be there, and everyone else wanted to be there as well.
You only got one coach, one battle of Pritchard. Coaching our team? Yeah. There ain't no secret who I'm gonna say. You ready? If I had to pick one coach to coach the game at Pritchard Stadium, playing Blount, it'd be Harold Clark. No doubt in my mind, because one thing about it, he gonna take control of the game, and we coming out to fight. He already ready to fight. He come out there fight. I'm taking Harold Clark with me. I'm undefeated with Harold Clark.
Oh, I'm gonna say Coach Stevenson. It's just something that was different about him that he brought to the team and that he brought to the community. He was from Birmingham and we didn't know nothing about him, but his spirit and his craziness about the passion of football, it was just overwhelming. And he'll get you run through this wall behind me. That's how much motivation and speaking that he had on the game.
Because it's some moments that stick in your head that's not good for Vigor. And then you got some moments that are good for Vigor that you remember. I remember 06 when we had the back-to-back goal line stands against them. When Blount had the ball 4 straight plays on the 1 yard line and we stopped. We get the ball 1 play, fumble, and give it back to them on the 1 yard line and stop them 4 more plays. That was a close game. We ended up winning the game like 13-7 that year. So that's a good memory that sticks in your head. And then I remember the first time we lost to them in 16 years. And the newspaper read Halloween Shocker. It was at Ladd Stadium. And we ended up losing the game 7-0. And when leaving the stadium, you could hear the Blount fans cheering all the way at the tunnel because it was the first time they had beat us in 16 years. And I can hear it in my head right now. They were hollering, "Whoop, there it is."